Hi, and welcome back to another math lesson. And we're going to start with a number talk, and we're going to work with target number again, but we're going to work with the skill of subtraction. So our target number is 9. Below our target, we have several numbers. See what you can come up with. What kind of problems can you come up with where you're going to subtract some of the numbers so that you get a target number of 9. Remember, you have to use at least 2 numbers, and you can use a number more than once. Go ahead and pause the video and see what you can come up with. I hope you were able to come up with some problems using the numbers below the target to get our target number. Here's what I came up with. 27 minus 18 is 9. 15 minus 6 equals 9. 30 minus 20 minus 1 is 9. And 30 minus 15 minus 6 equals 9. Now you also could have done 18 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 until you got to 9. Whatever worked for you. Okay, we're going to do our lesson, and our focus for our lesson is going to be using number lines and rounding numbers. So we're going to start with some mental math. You're going to need your whiteboard eraser, and a whiteboard marker. So pause the video, get those items, and come on back. Okay, I'm going to read a number to you, and I want you to write the number down on your board. Okay, so the first number that I want you to write down is, hold on a second, I gotta get to the right page in my book, I'm sorry, is 35. And it should look like this. So 35 has 2 numbers. It has a number in the ones place, and it has a number in the tens place. What is the digit in the tens place? The digit in the tens place is 3. The value of that 3 is not 3. The value of that 3 is 30. Write down the number 47. 47 looks like this. Underline the number in the ones place. You should underline the 7. The value of that 7 is 7. That's what it's worth. 4 is in the tens place. The value of that 4 is 40. Erase those numbers. And I want you to write down the number 472. 472. Should look like that. Circle the number that's in the tens place. The number that's in the tens place is 7. The value of that 7 is 70. Underline the number that's in the hundreds place. The 4 is in the hundreds place. The value of that 4 is 400. Write down the number 405. 405 looks like this. Underline the digit in the tens place. The 0 is in the tens place. The value of that digit is 0. Circle the number in the ones place. The 5 is in the ones place. The value of that 5 is 5. Circle the number in the hundreds place. It's 4. The value of that 4 isn't 4. The value of that 4 is 400 because it is in the hundreds place. Erase those numbers. I'm going to give you 3 bigger numbers to write down. The first one is 1,452. 1,452. The second number is 2,698. 2,698. And the last number is 2,097. 2,097. In the first number, I want you to circle the 1. The 1 is in the thousands place. it's worth 1,000. Underline the digit in the tens place. You should have underlined the 5. That 5 is worth 50. The value of that 5 is 50. In the next number, you've got 2,698. Circle the digit in the hundreds place. Very good. You should have circled the 6. The value of that 6 is 600. What is the value of the 2? The 2 is in the thousands place. The value of that 2 is 2,000. And our last number, 2,097. What is the value of the 0? The value of the 0 is 0. It's in the hundreds place, but it's a 0, so it's worth 0. The value of the 9 is 90. And the value of the 2, since it's in the thousands place, is 2,000. Now, one thing you did not hear me say when I read these larger numbers was the word and. Some people like to sneak the word and in when they are saying a big number. So like 4,592, they might say 4,592. Or 1,452, they might say 1,452. But the word and is not in the number at all. So that's one thing that we're going to be focusing and stressing this year is when you're reading a bigger number, if the word and isn't there, we're just not going to say it. Moving on. We're going to look at a couple different ways to solve a big problem. We may not know all the different strategies, but we can figure out some ways to do it. So if our first problem is 28 plus 37, what I can do is focus on the numbers in the tens place. Remember, that's not a 2 and a 3. That's 20 and 30. So 20 plus 30 equals 50. Then I can take my numbers in the ones place. I've got 8 plus 7. 8 plus 7 is 15. I add those together and I get 65. So 28 plus 37 is 65. I can do the same thing with 49 and 18. Take the digits in my tens place, write down their values, 40 plus 10, and that equals 50. Take the digits in my ones place, 9 plus 8, add those together, and I get 17. 50 plus 17 is 67. Now, boys and girls, this is not the one way to solve a problem. This is just a way to solve a problem. Because one thing that we're going to be talking about in math class this year is that there's more than one way to get an answer to a problem. And moving on. We are also in this lesson going to talk about the words rounding and estimate. Okay? So an estimate is when you're asked to give me about how much. I don't want an actual answer. I don't want the exact answer. I just want an about how much answer. And a way that we do that is we work on rounding our numbers. And when we round our numbers, we're going to either round them to the nearest 10, the nearest 100, or the nearest 1,000. For example, if I have the problem 101 minus 17, and I ask you, well, what is the estimate for that answer? Then I would round those numbers. So 101, I would have to decide which 100 number is that closest to. It's between 100 and 200, but it's closer to 100. 17 is between 10 and 20, but it's closer to 20. So that would be what I would round 17 to. And then I would solve that. 100 minus 20 is 80. So if I was going to give an estimate for about how much 101 minus 17 is, I would say it's about 80. That is exactly what we're going to be working on these next few pages. So we're going to talk about a number line. This is a number line. We're going to use a number line a lot in math this year. So our task is to take the number 54 and round it to the nearest 10. Under the number line, I've got 3 lines and I've got 3 ticks. So on those lines underneath the ticks, I'm going to write what 10 numbers 54 is between. So 54 is between 50 and 60. The tick number in the middle is where I would write the halfway number. So what is halfway between 50 and 60? 55 is halfway between 50 and 60. Then I would take my number 54 and think about where I would put that on the number line. Well, 54 comes before 55, and this is telling me that since it's on this side of 55, it's closer to 50. So if I were to round 54 to the nearest 10, I would round it to 50. We're going to practice several of these. If I want to round 168 to the nearest 10, well, 168, I'm going to focus on the tens place. It's going to be between 160 and 170. My halfway number is 165. Put 168 on the number line where I think it fits. 168 is closest to 170. So to round 168 to the nearest 10, it would be 170. Rounding 325 to the nearest 100. Oh, I'm missing my tick. There we go. Well, what hundreds is 325 between? It's between 300 and 400. The halfway number would be 350. 325 is between 300 and 350. It's closer to 300. So rounding that to the nearest 100, it would be 300. Couple more. 72 rounding to the nearest 10. Well, 72 is between 70 and 80. The halfway number was 75. 72 on the number line would go about right there. It's closer to 70. So rounding 72 to the nearest 10, it would be 70. Going to skip a couple. I want to do this one. So 175 to the nearest 10. Well, it's between 170 and 180. The halfway number is 175. So anytime the number that you're rounding matches the halfway number, then we're going to round up. So this would round to 180. Okay, so in your math journal on page 6, there are some practice problems for you to do. Moms and dads can help. Snap a picture and have moms or dads email it to me. Okay? And then here's a page that you can practice. You don't need to write it down on, you don't need to print it out or anything like that. You can just write your answers down on paper, or you can just practice them on your calendar, or not on your calendar, Mrs. Fleury, goodness sakes, on your calculator, and moms and dads can check. This is something that we practiced in our last lesson. And then here is another page, a home link that I am going to put out there for if moms and dads want you to do some more practice, they can print this off and you can practice this at home. So I will put that out there on our page. All right, good luck.